Kloster Andechs Export Dunkel.
And remember, life is too short to be drinking shitty beer.
Welcome to another edition of Bands, Bikes and Booze Reviews. Got one here today from Kloster Andechs, which is an old German monastic brewer, and it is their Export Dunkel. Now, if you're wondering what that noise is, that's my missus blowing up balloons for a party tomorrow. Don't get me started. But I was out shopping for beer today for this party. It's round a neighbour's house, and I was in Morrison's, and I know that they've done some adjustments to their beer range, and they put a lot of craft beer in there, which, to be honest, didn't really interest me at all. Supermarket craft beer, well, you can take it or leave it. In my opinion, I'm not really fussed about it. But they have added some quite interesting beers. They've got in big bottles of triple Carmelite, which I really like. I should review that again, because I reviewed that over a year ago, and I should revisit that one. What else they got? They got all the usual caper, a lot of Yorkshire stuff. They've got Timothy Taylor, they've got Old Peculiar, they've got some other Yorkshire brewers, notably the Osset Brewery. And I didn't pick one of theirs up because not too far away from it, I noticed some Hofbrau original that they've started doing. So I bought that for this party tomorrow. But I will review the Osset stuff and the other new stuff that they've got in. But as I say, they're getting, well, somebody's actually paid attention and looked at their looked at their beer range and thought it's looking a bit tired, and they've actually had a think about it and got in some quite decent beers. So that's interesting. I was really moaning because they'd got in a lot of Belgian beers and hardly any Germans, and I turned around and I looked and I had Franciscana, which you can get anywhere, but they also had the Hofbrau stuff, which was really impressive. So yep, I grabbed two of them. I didn't have a bag, so I got as many as I could carry. But anyway, back to this stuff. This is from the Kloster Andechs Brewery. They are a Benedictine brewery, a genuine monastic brewer. They are based in Bavaria, and they've been going since 1455, which is quite an interesting pedigree. Their brewery, they rebuilt it in, when was that? I think they started in 1972, and it was completed in 1984. So I don't know who the fuck they had building that. It sounds like the glazer who's doing the studio around my place at the moment. I'm waiting on him. Been waiting ages to get a door and a window. He rang me up the other day. He said, "Oh, I've got the door." I said, "What about the window?" He went, "Oh, I forgot the window." So yeah, I've got to wait another couple of weeks. Not pleased, but there you go. But yeah, they completed that in 1984, and it's quite impressive. If you see the pictures of it, it is impressive. But what really impressed me about this beer, the Kloster Andechs Dunkel, Export Dunkel I should call it, it uses the decoction mashing technique, which is basically where you take out some of the mash, you boil it separately from there, and you put it back into the mash, and it's supposed to intensify the flavour. It's very labour intensive, and it's costly as well. Not a lot of brewers do it because of this reason, and you do run the risk of ruining your entire mash. But if you get it right, it can be really good. And this beer, along with their Helles, uses that decoction mashing. I even think they use double decoction mashing, which they take two lots out, which is good because not a lot of brewers do it. It's a very outdated, I wouldn't say outdated, it's outdated in a sense that it's not cost effective for most brewers to do, but Andechs do it, which is good. It does guarantee good flavour. Well, it doesn't guarantee good flavour, but if you get it right, it guarantees good flavour. So there you go, let's just clear that up. Anyway, let's stop rambling and let's get onto this beer. Right, it is 500ml bottle. It is 4.9%, and usual caper. It contains hop extract, hops, yeast, water, etc., malted barley, that kind of stuff. It's a Dunkel, so it's a dark lager. It's bottom fermented, as I just mentioned. It uses that double decoction mashing, or malt. They call it, what do they call it? A multiple brewing technique or something like that. They don't call it decoction mashing. That's a, I don't know if it's an American term, but it's a brewing term. Put it that way. So there you go. Right. Well, let's get it open and let's see what's going on with it. Now, I've tried a couple of the Andechs range. I've tried their Fold beer, the wheat beer, the Doppelbock. I think I've tried. I'm not sure, but that's really good. That's got a really good reputation. But it obviously, it didn't really stick in my memory because I can't remember whether I tried it or not. If I haven't tried it, I'm definitely going to get it. There we are. There's the cap. So let's get it into ye olde glass. Now it's a Dunkel, and I love Dunkels. I've been drinking quite a few lately. I got a couple of bottles of the Alt Irish Dunkel. I was drinking that yesterday. That was absolutely gorgeous. I got a Hofbrand Dunkel as well. Really nice. So I'm going through a bit of a phase of drinking Dunkels at the moment, because I actually prefer these to Hellas's, believe it or not, but they're not very popular over here. You'll tend to find there's more Hellas's being sold rather than Dunkels. I don't know why, to be honest. Oh, and it smells really nice. Nice sweet roasted malt. Yeah, very nice. Exactly what I'd be expecting in a Dunkel. And I'm pretty sure this has been filtered, so there's no suspended yeast as far as I know. Yeah, it looks pretty clear. It's a nice ruby colour. Looks like their Doppelbock, or a Doppelbock I should say. What are we getting on the nose? Yeah, it's really nice. It's a nice sweet aroma to that. Sweet malt, almost toast like, if you can imagine that. It's a little bit smoky as well. There's a little element of smoke here that could potentially be from the roasted malt, but head is dissipating, so let's stop gassing and let this get this down my fat Gregory Peck. Zum Wohl, as they say in Germany. That's nice. It's very nice indeed, actually. I'm going to have another go. Let me dive in. Yeah. So you're getting nice toasty roasted malt aromas and flavours from this. Quite a nice mouthfeel. Carbonation is a little touch abrasive, but just on the cusp of being aggressive. And I will say the body is slightly weaker than the Hofbrau and the Alt Irish Dunkel. Now, I know, at the risk of sounding like a broken record, you may not or may not know, Alt Irish Dunkel is my favourite German dark beer. It's the Inga Dunkel, and it's fantastic. I absolutely love it. It is my favourite of all time. It may not be everyone else's, but it's, for me, it's the best. This hasn't got the complexity of the Alt Irish Dunkel. I find with the Alt Irish Dunkel there's a little bit of intensity on the finish, a little bit of hop bitterness, and there's a little touch of, dare I say, chocolate malt on there. This hasn't quite got that. Compared to the Inga stuff, it's a little bit weaker. but it's still good. I mean, I'm being hypercritical here because I am comparing the best with the best. This is good, don't get me wrong. I mean, if they sold this in Morrison's, you can bet your arse I would be buying this like it was going out of fashion. It would be my go-to beer. But as it stands now, this is quite hard to get hold of in the UK. You have to buy it from online retailers, and if it was a choice between this and, say, the Hofbrauer Dunkel, the Altbayerisch Dunkel, possibly even the Paulaner Dunkel, I might have to overlook that. I think there's a lot better Dunkels out there, but again, I need to emphasise this. It sounds like I'm being harsh. This is a fantastic pint. It really is. So when you hear me saying what I'm saying about this, please do not take this as a criticism of it. I'm comparing it with the best brewers in Germany. So, and it needs to be, because they're good. I quite like what they did, as I say. I've tried the Helles, I've tried the Foal beer, I've tried the wheat beer, and now I've tried the Dunkel. And yeah, it's good. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that whatsoever. So what's the verdict on Kloster Andechs Export Dunkel? Yeah, it's good. I like it. It's got everything I'd expect in a Dunkel. It's got their nice roasted malt flavours. Not as big as finish as I would expect on a top quality Bavarian Dunkel, but it's still good. I mean, it goes down very nicely indeed. The carbonation is a little aggressive, but not too bad. It's just on the cusp of being aggressive, and it's okay. And the head doesn't last too long on that, so with all that aggressive carbonation, the head doesn't really retain itself. But it's good. I like it. And I'm going to give that... I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10 because it's hard to get hold of. It's not the best Dunkel from Germany. It's certainly a good one, but it's not the best. There is better out there, and to be honest, I think given the choice between this and the others that I've mentioned, i.e. the Hofbrauer, Paulaner, certainly the Inga Dunkel, I'd be going for them before I'd be going for this. However, if I saw this and it was at a good price in a supermarket, I would be all over it like a rash. So yeah, I think 8 out of 10, a solid 8 out of 10, is a fair mark for this. I'd definitely recommend it. If you can't get hold of the others that I've mentioned, then definitely go for this. It's a good one. There's nothing wrong with it at all. And if you like your dark lagers from Germany, you're going to like that. And remember, beer is working class champagne.